Good morning, English 2. Happy Wednesday. I hope your week's going well. We are going to continue on with Act 3 of Julius Caesar. Before we get started, I'm going to give you time to go take attendance real quick, please. If you, for your attendance word, will please use the word soliloquy. I don't know why Miss Clyde can't talk. SOLILOQUY. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes and then we're going to get started. Not 3 minutes, I'm sorry. 30 seconds. And then we're going to get started. You can just Control C and then Control V into your attendance code word. We are having a super great time on my daughter's Make-A-Wish. I will say it is incredibly warm. And it's kind of funny, but not funny. So when we landed, of course, we're coming from kind of like colder Wisconsin. And we landed and I was like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I could move here. This is beautiful. Look at all the trees and it's warm. And now that we've been outside for several days, like walking everywhere, I was like, nope, there is a reason that I live in Wisconsin. This is ridiculously hot. And so it's like really fun and it's nice as a vacation. I don't know that I could live here in like this heat and humidity. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts. You can totally email me or G-chat me your thoughts. If you would enjoy living in the heat like this or if you're like, All right, so we're going to get started. Just a reminder, Act 3 is not due to me until tomorrow. I did change that in the Buzz due dates, right? Your homework last night, I had asked you to please finish reading Act 3, Scene 1, just so that we could talk about it. And then we would start with Scenes 2 and 3 today. Okay. So hopefully last night you finished reading. If you did not, you need to finish reading Scene 1, okay? And just like a very super brief overview. Remember that Antony asks for permission to go take Caesar's body and he wants to like talk at Caesar's funeral, right? And Cassius is like, telling Brutus, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that might cause some issues. And Brutus is like, no, I'm gonna like talk before Brutus or before Antony talks. And I'm gonna tell the crowd, that we're allowing Antony to talk because he's so overcome by Caesar's death. And like people are gonna like look at us and think that we're so kind by allowing Antony to talk. I don't know how this is gonna go, right? Thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea either, actually, if I was a conspirator, but fine. Brutus thinks that he's gonna allow him. So notice Brutus is like very much, because remember, this is one of the big things. Brutus is very much persuaded, right? First, he was persuaded by Cassius to make a really poor decision, obviously by murdering Caesar. Now he's being persuaded by Antony when other people are saying, Brutus, this is a really bad decision. This is not a good idea. He's like, no, it'll be fine. And so now he's being persuaded to do this. I'm so sorry if you can hear my phone vibrating in the background. I'm just turning it down. So sorry. Okay. So Antony, as a soliloquy, okay, remember, Antony as a soliloquy kind of talks and says, he's like talking to Caesar, not necessarily praying, right? But kind of talking to Caesar and saying like, please forgive me for like being so kind to the conspirators. I'm like really worried about what is going to happen in Rome now. He's worried about like civil unrest, right? That there's going to be more fights and wars breaking out now amongst people and citizens. And then remember that Octavius, Caesar's like stepson, is going to be coming back, and Octavius's like servant comes in, right, and says like that he's coming, and Antony says, no, keep Octavius like out of Rome until we know what's going to happen. Antony says that like the servant can definitely stay and like see what happens at the funeral, but first like keep Octavius out, right? And that's kind of like how we wrap up scene 1. Okay. So hopefully you've kind of gotten like an idea about what you think about Mark Antony. Do you think Mark Antony is going to kind of like have, like he's just wanting to quote, talk at Caesar's funeral? Or do you think he has like a bigger plan where like he's going to like kind of call people out? Or maybe like he's going to like get back at them and revenge them? Remember when he first sees Caesar dead, he's like, you might as well just kill me now, right? He was so upset. So do you think he's just going to kind of let everything go, or is he going to cause maybe a little bit of issues? We're going to find out, okay? So if you will please open up to Act 3, Scene 2. Hopefully you have it up. Whoop. I am also going in. Okay. All right, so scene 2, let's start. Brutus and Cassius enter. It says with a throng of plebeians, okay? These are like the citizens of Rome, okay? It says the common people of Rome. They're like the citizens of Rome. And they say, we want answers. Give us answers. Brutus says, then follow me and listen to my speech, friends. Which is interesting, right? Brutus is about to try to, quote, convince these people about why they're right. And really, Brutus is the one who is typically convinced by other people. So this should be interesting. He says, Cassius, go to the next street and divide the crowd. Let those who will hear me speak stay, and lead those away who will follow you and will explain publicly the reasons for Caesar's death. So one of the citizens says, I'll listen to Brutus. And the other one says, I'll listen to Cassius, and then we will compare their reasons. Ooh, so they're going to kind of like put them almost up against each other, right? We're going to see how this goes. So Cassius exits with some of the citizens and goes one way, and then Brutus gets up on this platform. And one of the citizens just says, quiet, noble Brutus has mounted the platform. Brutus says, be patient until I finish. Romans, countrymen, and friends, listen to my reasons and be silent so you can hear. Believe me on my honor and keep my honor in mind, so you may believe me. Be wise when you criticize me, and keep your minds alert so you can judge me fairly. If there's anyone in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, I say to him that my love for Caesar was no less than his. Okay, so there's kind of 3 different, you can see some different appeals in here, right? We know that there's 3 appeals. I'm noticing first that he's appealing and asking people to like trust him on his honor. I see another one where he's asking people to think of him as like he wants the citizens to be wise and really listen to him. He's kind of saying that if you're wise, then you'll believe me, right? And then he's also kind of drawing on this emotional, where he says, if you're friends of Caesar and you loved Caesar like I love Caesar, then you'll listen too. So he's kind of drawing on different, remember the art of persuasion, those different appeals. He kind of has some different ones woven in there. Then he closes, he says, if then that friend demands to know why I rose up against Caesar, this is my answer. It's not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Would you rather that Caesar were living and we would all go to our graves as slaves, or that Caesar were dead and we all lived as free men? I rejoice in his good fortune. I